you have your built-in sexual fetishes, and that's not my business. What is my business is teaching you and illuminating you to the truth and leading you toward the water of truth that you refuse
Bryan,
to drink from.
You are so
You cannot drink from it.
delusional.
So sad.
If you don't think.
When people ask, is everything a conspiracy? The answer is yes.
Who and what is controlling everything and why? They practice sorcery. I can't argue against magic.
I don't know what it is that we live on, but I believe it's a realm. This realm that we live in is the lowest level of heaven, highest level of hell.
Chicken snake gods and the Anunnaki and sorcery. If Sam says the chicken snake god is running everything, I'm literally in the world of crazy. I'm winning.
You're losing. Conspiracy Social Club, aka Deep Waters. Welcome to Conspiracy Social Club, aka Deep Waters, aka
Highway to the danger zone. So,
Hey, I just want to start off by saying that I love you.
I love you too, buddy.
I love you, buddy, and I love that.
All is right in the world when I see you.
That wood gypsy over there.
Love you
I love every time that I know I have to do a show in the morning, I get excited and I run to bed like it's Christmas. I'm like, if I go to sleep now, the show will come sooner.
It's such a good show. And you know, I had an interesting come to Jesus moment in terms of conspiracy.
Join us.
In terms of conspiracy.
Jesus is my savior.
I know where you've gone off the rails.
What?
But I also know where you're on the rails. So,
by the way, I'm no longer in the rails. Used to love them.
well,
What was that laugh?
you guys bring up
What was that
you guys
laugh?
bring up
What
Operation
was that
Phoenix,
laugh?
Operation Paperclip,
Yeah.
MK Ultra.
Yeah. You mean all these real things?
So they are real.
Yeah.
So the reason we know they're real
Yeah.
is, of course, the church committee. Yeah. And in 1975, what happened and what we realized was, and Congress realized, was that the CIA
Yes.
and the NSA
Yes.
and the FBI
Yes.
were doing things like, I don't know, spying on Americans,
Yes.
getting people high on LSD
Yes.
without them knowing about it and watching them, observing
Yes.
them,
Yes. Which is so effed up.
assassinating people, plotting assassinations,
Yes.
like with Allende,
Yes.
etc.
Yes.
Like the guy from, I think, Zaire.
Or just in
whatever his name
America.
is. Lumumba, or whatever his name
Like
is.
the 60s.
Yes. But there was a deep state, and there's a great great podcast called so this podcast called the Re-Education Podcast by Eli Lake. He talks about the deep state as it existed from 1945. I think it was the CIA was founded in 47.
Is this the end of the show? We've gotten to like.
Well, no.
No.
There's a caviat.
Yeah.
Okay,
There's a
here we
caveat.
go. Here we go.
And 75, Frank Church, who was a Democratic senator from Iowa,
Yes.
called this committee and said, this is bullshit. You know, President Ford, see, what was happening was President Ford was aware that there was a lot of shit going on he didn't know about. And he was like, hold on, what's going on here? And why didn't I know about this? And there's more shit I don't know about. And who are these people? So, you know, this one guy named Colby, who was, I think, one of the heads of the CIA.
Oh, Bill Colby.
Bill Colby.
Good old Bill Cosby.
He was a soldier. He looked like a real
He's a
church boy.
soldier.
Bring him up. He looked like a church boy. He had horn ring glasses.
What happened to please?
But
Could you please bring it up?
Homeboy, yeah. Homeboy was because I'm on a roll. Homeboy was a soldier. He was a soldier. That guy right there.
Oh,
that guy looks like a church boy. Soldier. Dropped in behind enemy lines on skis with a rifle. Did a lot of killing. And was in the CIA, and they said, I think Gerald Ford said, hey, I need to know what's actually going on in the CIA. And for whatever reason, this dude unleashed what's called the family jewels. They called it the family jewels. And he goes, I'll tell you. And wrote down and put in memos all the shit that was shocking to a lot of civilian people in our government.
Right.
Like assassination plots.
Right. Okay.
Like MK Ultra.
Okay.
like Operation Paperclip.
Yes.
Like Operation Phoenix was an assassination
Yes.
program.
Yes.
Okay, all these things. And all of a sudden, it was like, hold on, motherfuckers. We need oversight committees. That's why now we have oversight committees, where the CIA, to get their money and funding, has to go through a lot of oversight committees.
Okay.
All right. And those oversight committees cannot be, chaired by military people. They have to be chaired by civilians who are voted in.
Okay.
So a lot of the things that you conspiracy guys are talking about are true, but they also happened before 1975. Now, you are saying, and you are right to say, hey, what else is going on, motherfuckers? I don't trust you. There's a lot of stuff that's going on, and so I think there is.
Cursing so much, please.
Yes,
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
mean, what is wrong with you, bro?
Apologize.
We're trying to grow a show.
Can you bleep those things out?
Yeah, I can.
Yeah, that's a lot of work,
And-
bro.
It's fine. But if you could please just stop cursing so
Yeah,
much.
please.
Okay, I will.
And could
So
you get
hot
to
right
your
now.
point?
My point
Oh
is this. My
God.
point is this. You guys are a little outdated. I need some current.
What?
Yeah, I need some current.
What?
I need some current evidence.
Okay.
If you're gonna talk about
Oh,
pre-church committee.
okay.
You're
So,
gonna talk
Bryan,
pre-church committee.
what you're-
I got you, but I mean,
Hey, what time are we at, by the way?
Okay.
What
5
time are we
minutes.
at?
All you're doing is reciting.
5 minutes.
All you're doing
so
is
there's
reciting the
5
historical
minutes
record.
of verbal throw up that you just said on the show.
Yeah.
5 minutes saying all this stuff happened in the 70s.
Yeah.
No proof it's still going on. Is that what you just literally just said?
Well, we do have a robust assassination program. We know
Okay.
this. We've copied
Right.
the Israelis on this.
Right.
And I think that's to our detriment to an extent.
Right. But let's just even leave the assassinations out.
Yeah.
Do you not think that all these operations, manipulation of the media, what he wants to talk about,
Yeah.
Operation Gelato, you think none of that's really going on? What's it called?
Gladio.
Gladio,
I want to
Gelato,
hear about
sorry.
that.
Gladio.
I want to hear about Gladio. What I know is this: that you can't.
I
keep much
prefer Gelato.
Yeah,
I think that's
Gelato's
because
better.
it does involve
Yeah.
Italy, right?
Yeah.
But we know a lot of this stuff, don't we? We know what's going on.
No, Bryan, literally, we have episodes where you don't know any of this stuff. There's literal evidence, video evidence of you going, I don't know what you're talking about. Our intelligence services are just patriotic people, and they care. We have hundreds of episodes of that.
Well, I may have been a tad naive,
Yeah. Well, that's
but
the
my
beauty
voice
of
isn't
this.
that. My voice, and you guys know this. When I get serious,
Yeah, yeah.
my natural resting
This
voice
is
is
Bryan.
very powerful.
I'm cornered.
Well, no, this is scary, Bryan. And I
Yeah.
try to soften my edges because, as you
Okay,
know,
okay.
I have a pocket knife out at all times, and I'm keeping my voice very jovial because
Yeah.
you don't want this
Yeah,
Bryan
exactly.
who's got guns ablazing. When I
Okay,
pull out my
okay.
6-shooters,
Yeah.
nobody gets out the bar alive, right?
Bryan. Bryan
Hey.
has guns and blazes, and this is where Bryan's had his gun so far. This whole
Look, listen to me. The bottom line is, yes, we have to be vigilant. Yes. our
well, the
deep state
problem is,
carried away.
Bryan, it's not just that. Like it's like I understand that that based on your senior citizen dementia that you would have a view of the world that was so. I mean, because listen, man, you and I are around the same age. We are like we have 2 foot. We have our feet in different eras, right?
Yeah.
Like a lot of people our age are very resistant to opening their eyes to maybe that the parties are the same people, because we were really raised,
Yes.
especially if
True.
you're like 50 and older,
True.
that the left is for the young, for the ideal that we want to change the world, and the right was for the big guys, the country club, the fuck corporations, and it was very easy to go good guy, bad guy.
Yeah.
Or it's like, do you say good guy, bad guy, white, black, all that stuff? It was very easy. And now, in my humble opinion, I think the Clintons changed all that, specifically in 2015, more than ever, that it became, wow, it's all one party and we're not a part of it. And it's just really hard to come to grips with that for a bunch of reasons. One is like your entire, most people's entire programming was set up good guy, bad guy. You know, we have to have good, we have to have bad.
What do you think is the cause of that?
Just years of programming and
also,
brainwashing.
Also money in politics, right? So campaign finance reform, like the way campaigns are financed, what you have to do to get money to run. And who actually
I mean, if you go back to the Clintons, like I learned this from Jimmy Dore, right? Was like the people I just did a deep conspiracy rewind on the George Bush, Bill Clinton debate with Ross Perot, and like you watch that thing, and you like today we know this is all theater, and it's basically everybody there is playing Ross Perot.
Yeah.
Because everyone there is on the same team.
Yes.
But it's being presented as a battle of the Titans.
And Ross Perot might have been the one making the most sense, wasn't he?
No, he annihilated everybody.
Yeah.
But when you watch that, because if you really now in hindsight, we know that, you know, the Clintons were funded by the Koch brothers, that Bill Clinton was working with George Bush in smuggling cocaine into Arkansas, that whole thing was just a giant theater. But we back then didn't know that because we were way more naive. We were way more that, you know, these are journalists and their number one goal is truth. And their number one goal is to get the story out. And we realized after, you know, it was actually... It's this whole thing where, like, they pass laws to allow them to do things they were already doing. And, you know, when Bill Clinton comes in, he deregulates the media. But before that, we just realized that everybody was on one team. But we weren't being told that. We were very naive that it was like, even Watergate, who even knows what the real story is?
Well, Ronald Reagan said that to an extent. Ronald Reagan said that the problem with Washington is when you get there, you forget it's a cesspool because it feels so warm. It's like stepping into a warm bath. And even though you're in a cesspool, that feels pretty good on your skin.
I bet you a cesspool is warm.
That's what he said. He said there's something about it saying once you get under, like in the, you know, everybody's kind of knows each other. Everybody's jovial. You're all fighting, but you're, you know, at the end of the day, it's theater. And he said, you know, at the end of the day, government just grows because everybody wants to stay in power. And everybody will do what their voters say. So let me give you an example. This is what drives me nuts is, and I've said this before, we are looking in one direction when the problems are right here. So scores for our students, young students, our eighth graders are literally 20 and 30 points below where they should be, especially brown and black students are so much lower. Thank you, pandemic. Thank you, keeping kids out of school for 2 years. Thank you, teachers' unions that resist any idea of summer school or making up class time for the kids that are really lagging behind. And nobody's talking about it. Instead, Republicans talk about what? A couple of books that have LGBT stuff in them. And
Will you
also,
look up real, hold on. Will you look up real quick
theory?
the National Teacher Union president giving a speech about why they're going to defend critical race theory. Go on.
So, but again, like critical race theory and LGBTQ books, you know, that's what Republicans are harping on, and then Democrats are going, we need more money and we need stronger teachers unions, and both of those things are missing the point.
Yeah,
we need
sure.
reading, writing, and arithmetic. We need these kids to be able to locate the United States on a freaking map. We need the kids to understand.
I'm getting a giant map of the
We need kids to be a little bit numerate. We need kids to understand, like, have basic command of U.S. history and world history. And, you know, and they don't. And that's the real enemy. And all we're talking about is critical race theory. Like, we can't even get these kids to read. Forget, like, you're worried about them reading some book that teaches you how to give a BJ or whatever. Okay, I understand. I get it. I don't want my kids seeing that. That's some book in the library that you're using as a political tool. Drag shows. I get it. I get the thing. But these are isolated incidents. The bigger problem, it's like what Bill Maher said I thought was amazing. He said, man, we're worried about terrorism. You know what's really going to kill you? All that corn syrup. And all those carbs you eat. It's like,
I do believe the pushback
yeah.
on cultural Marxism is important, but
I do
believe
you know what I mean?
that I mean,
It's a head fake though, right? It's like, hey, look over here, and we see these examples, and our algorithm kind of lies to us, and I get worked up about it. Of course.
dude, I think the biggest danger too, not the biggest, obviously, but one of them is algorithms, man.
I agree.
We are now living in a time where you only get the facts you want to hear. And, you know, with this whole RFK Jr. stuff and this technology he's talking about, like, you just have people that are super uncomfortable when they hear facts that don't fit their narrative, and they just start to gaslight you. I think is this it? She's giving a speech. No, it's a black woman. Sorry, but,
I got a bigger worry too, and I'm going to tell you what that is. Again,
but I mean, like, Bryan, there are. I went to take my kids because it was so hot now. Obviously, it's hot everywhere in LA, right? I mean, in America today, but it was really hot. So to get my kids out of my house, which is wonderfully air
I don't
conditioned.
know why you don't come down to my house. I really don't.
Dana wants to, but
It's unbelievable.
So I had to get him out of my house, and so I took him to this indoor park, and there was a bunch of families there. There were two parents there wearing straight up masks.
Yeah.
Why everybody else has no mask, and I want to go, hey man, hey, is anybody falling dead around you?
Yeah.
Like, what are you doing
Those
with
are
you?
those are people sometimes who don't like their face.
Yeah,
or
but
feel
also,
safer,
Bryan,
you know.
it's their algorithm is not letting them know every study that's coming out that says not only masks don't work, but they actually help cause what they say is long COVID.
Yeah.
Why are you so triggered?
By what?
People wearing masks.
Well, we like you said, our algorithm is lying to us. You're right.
This freaking trickster over here, because it's literally stupid. Like, they're stupid. It doesn't work. It never worked. But they're still doing it because, and the craziest thing is, like, the people who tend to do it tend to be the people that for the longest time we thought were the intelligent ones, which are the nerds. There's so many unhealthy looking nerds out there right now
who have a lot of control and power. Like my thing is this: the biggest worry is, did you see this AI thing that these two academics did, where they had something to do with weapons in the Department of Defense or something, and they put into AI. They had AI come up with different ways, different chemical compounds that were dangerous. And the AI came up with 40,000 different concoctions with deadly chemical warfare. Oh my God. AI suggested 40,000 new possible chemical weapons in just 6 hours. Now, and then showed you how to make it. And they just the White House read this, and the White House brought them in and was like, what's
How can
going
we get
on?
these?
No, they were like, well, how
Make
do we
them
stop
now.
this? And the genie's already out of the bottle. So how do we stop AI?
Bryan, did you
from
hear
doing
about
this?
the AI that took on chess masters and invented moves that no one's ever seen before that are completely legal?
No, I didn't. That's so nuts. Let me
That's
see
so
that.
crazy,
Are you
bro.
serious?
Yeah.
That's what I mean. And it's like, so now what are we doing here? We can't compete with any of this. So what is going on? What's going to happen in 10 years? And that's going to create a destructive power.
Bryan,
but
let
it
me
also
ask you
might
something. But
create
here's what I want to
a
ask you,
healing
Bryan,
power.
and this is kind of the theme of this show. Who are you listen, you're 100% valid to be nervous about that technology getting into the wrong hands. If I had to ask you who getting that technology scares you the most, who's your biggest fear of getting that technology?
Any government not answerable to their populace. So any government,
Is there a specific government?
well, definitely China, definitely Russia.
What?
Yeah. Definitely
What?
China, definitely Russia.
Definitely China, definitely Russia.
Because China and Russia.
If you had the power rank the most dangerous governments getting this technology, power rank them to me.
So China and Russia are very dangerous because they are not responsible to a democracy or to voters. So Xi can do whatever he wants with his military.
Really, Brian?
Yes, and the United States cannot. The United States has a lot of checks and balances.
Dude,
still
Brian,
in
you
play.
are
And
too
this is
cute.
this is where you don't understand
This is why
how
we're
your
the
own
shirt.
government works.
This is why we're
But
the shirt.
unfortunately, you
Thank
don't know
God
how
the-
your government
the
works.
bell is closest to Bryan because that is a bell ringing moment.
What?
Thank you.
It's a huge.
What? What?
Well, Sam
Okay,
thinks the United
well.
States is the bad guy, and unfortunately, he doesn't
That
know
was,
how
dude.
the world
That was uncalled for.
and he doesn't know how the world
That
works.
was uncalled for.
But Sam, you don't know how the world works.
Brian.
So the United States is a democracy, and we are the people are, at least for now, responsible somewhat to oversight.
Brian, can
and
I
to
ask
civilian-
you what
to
part
civilian
of the
voters.
population wants to send to Ukraine gazillions of billions of dollars?
Actually, the majority of Republicans.
What?
Yes. If you look at the polls, the majority of people, about 70%.
Nope, not true at
Yes, it
all.
is
You're
true.
making numbers
No,
up
I'm not.
out of your asshole.
Look it up. Most Americans support the Ukraine, the aid to Ukraine.
Nope, most people don't.
Mea culpa. I was looking up the disease that has taken over Sam when you guys were talking about the thing that I should look up. This is the disease.
What's it called?
Yeah.
This is what you have in your.
Explain it to me how I have that.
Russophilia. You have you know how necrophilia, pedophilia, all these things where you have a love. Philia is a love for something.
Yeah.
You have Russophilia. You love Russia.
Yeah.
And you love Putin. And you love the oligarchs. And that's a fact.
Yeah.
And you truly, and I
You-
know this, you truly
Bryan?
jerk off to anime porn featuring G.
Yeah, okay.
That's what you do. G has to, all he has to do is
Brian,
be
you know what
alone,
you
rubbing
jerk
up
off
against
to?
a stump.
A fantasy
and
of
you're
Joe
like,
Bryan putting chloroform over your mouth, knocking you out, and railing your asshole. That's
am
what
I-
you love.
Wait,
That's
Your
what you
Honor,
love.
Your
That's
Honor,
what you love.
why am I a fucking-
You love it.
why
You
am I
love
a
the
bottom?
military-industrial complex railing your asshole.
He's turning me into a
Railing
bottom,
it.
power
That's
bottom
totally
again.
fine. Yellow card
No, it's
on
not.
notice. That's
It's not.
fine.
It's not fine.
He's not allowed to turn me into a power
Brian,
bottom.
you are delusional. If you don't think a
Sam-
bigger
Sam-
danger to the world is the U.S. military-industrial complex,
Well,
you are delusional.
Explain that. Let me romance your fantasy.
Oh, please, dude.
Because as
Romance
a
my
Russian-
fantasy.
As a Russophilia, where somebody who suffers from Russophilia and Sinophilia. Okay,
What's Sinophilia?
Look that up. Sinophilia. You and I apologize. I apologize
will
for
you
my
look up what
extensive
Brian
vocabulary.
has? Butt fuckophilia? Can you look that up, please?
No,
Sam?
no. Sinophilia. Yeah, that would be somebody who loves China. Basically, you love China. You
What?
love China.
What's
strong interest in China? Chinese everything. China. And so you have your built-in sexual fetishes, and that's not my business. What is my business is teaching you and illuminating you to the truth and leading you toward the water of truth that you refuse
Brian,
to drink from.
you are so
You cannot drink from it.
delusional.
So sad.
If you don't think the biggest danger on this planet is the U.S. military-industrial complex,
please
and
explain
the
what you
U.S.
mean.
intelligence agencies,
Please explain.
what we've done to Latin America and the Middle East should forbid us from ever.
And why did we? What was the
Yeah,
battle?
Brian, why
Should
did we do
so
it?
let's just say the United States did nothing about the Middle East.
Yeah.
That's adorable.
You're
That's
adorable.
So
You're
the United
adorable.
States should have done nothing about.
Yeah.
Shouldn't have been in
Yeah.
the Middle East.
Yeah. Like
and
what?
Shouldn't have been in
Like what should
Latin
we have done,
America.
Brian?
Well, Latin America had a very strong communist. Do you believe in communism?
Oh my God!
Do you believe in communism?
Dude. The communism's
Are
going
you
to
a-
spread everywhere,
Are you
right?
a leftist? Are you a
Oh
leftist?
yeah, oh yeah.
They were very strong communist.
Oh
insurgencies.
yeah, oh yeah. Were
Very
they going to go into
strong.
Vietnam, Brian?
No, but in Latin America, there
Was
was
it going to
very,
be
very
Vietnam?
strong- Latin
Should we
America
go
had
into
a very
Vietnam?
strong far left and communist
Oh,
movements,
okay.
starting with the Sandinistas.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of them. So I don't know if you are sympathetic to the communists and how they've done, but I guess if you want a Soviet-friendly
Yeah.
South America,
Yeah.
and if you believe in communism,
Okay.
then
So,
we should
you
have
know
done
what,
nothing.
Brian?
Now,
So-
hold on.
so-
Now,
so-
the
so-
Middle East.
Yeah.
The idea that we shouldn't have had any say in the Middle East, in the largest oil reserves in the world, and let the Russians take it over is
Brian?
adorable.
Brian.
Adorable.
Bryan.
So what should we?
I've never seen a self-snuff film in my life. I'm watching a man kill himself on video. It's unbelievable.
Please.
So Bryan, listen to what Bryan just said.
Yeah.
We have to be in the Middle East so that communism doesn't spread to the Middle East.
The Middle East was an oil play. We had to be there because the Soviets were very intent and very interested.
So we went into Iraq and committed genocide because we wanted to stop communism.
We went into Iraq because Iraq.
And by the way, Dylan, McCarthy had it right.
Well, I'm just saying this is Callan right now. He's Roy Cohn, a protege to McCarthy.
Oh, yeah. Oh, look at you, bro.
And also gay lover, yeah.
Yeah, he just called you a thank you, point. Dude, you want to ring the bell? No, look at you. Right. Bryan, that is every headshot you've ever taken right there.
But wait.
Bryan Kell, Matt TV. Dreaming the boys want to do weird shit.
Why are you turning me into he's turning me into a pedophile when I'm having an argument.
Bryan, you literally said we should commit genocide in the Middle East because communism. You literally just said that.
I didn't say we should commit genocide.
Yeah, we did, though. We did, though, Bryan. We did.
The Middle East had a very irresponsible dictator called Saddam Hussein.
Oh my!
What you do about someone like that who invades Kuwait is another story.
Bryan.
Should we have invaded Iraq? No, I don't think we should have. Will we pay a price for that? Are we paying a price for that?
Wait,
yes.
no, Bryan's the guy who goes to the woman who got domestically abused going, listen, you should have kept your hands up. That's the problem.
No, Iraq.
Why didn't you keep your hands up?
Iraq was a tragedy and a fiasco. And it was hubris, and it was a bunch of people who knew nothing about the history of it.
We committed genocide. That will be paid for in karma.
I think genocide's a very strong word, but we killed a lot.
How many people need to die for you to have a genocide?
We killed a lot of innocent Iraqis.
Yeah,
there's no doubt.
A million. That had nothing to do with 9/11.
Yeah.
There's no rewriting that, Bryan.
I agree.
And it had nothing to do with communism. Had everything to do with a pre-plan to go in there and redesign the Middle East.
I agree.
Okay?
That's true.
So, and a big part of it was the greater Israeli plan, which was to turn Iraq into a failed state, which would then affect Iraq.
Yeah, Iran. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, Iran. Yeah. Iran.
I think
Iran so far away.
I think all of your criticism there is valid. In that you are holding the United States
Bryan, none of that was called a criticism. A criticism is an interpretation of something that's going on. This is called historical facts.
Yes.
I was stating facts.
I agree.
Thank you.
I agree with that. I can't say anything about that.
That was a tie.
No, oh man,
yes.
Oh my God,
I'm winning
are you one of those MMA judges that just does not know how to watch a fight?
Well, no, it's hard.
That was a clean knockout.
But it's hard to argue with a guy like me because I'm full of facts and I see a broad picture. I want to get you out of the I want to get you out of the plebeian and rather elementary mindset of finding bad guys and good guys.
Bryan, and by the way, this is your gayest moment I've ever seen you. Your legs crossed, picking at your nails like that.
Well, I mean, I want to get you out of this rather plebeian and elementary and silly.
I'm listening.
A small group of men in a smoky room.
I am listening.
Anyway,
can we tabula rasa here? Okay, just shake hands and move on to the next
I'm ready to move on. I mean, dude, a win's a win for me. I keep moving.
All right. Let's talk about the Vice President of the United States, the woman Sam refers to as Camel Toe Harris.
Let's see her
which
amazing
is not
speech.
her name.
Kamala.
This is amazing. Here we go. This is so amazing.
Invest in clean energy and electric vehicles and reduce population, more of our children can breathe clean air and drink clean water.
Listen, dude.
She's so dumb.
Listen to what she said. Dumb. She said, reduce population, more of our children. I mean, in the same sentence.
She's such a dumb person. First of all, so play that again. Let me just play that again. Let me break this down for you. Go ahead. Is this the whole thing?
Yeah, that's.
Let me hear it. She's so dumb.
Clean energy and electric vehicles and reduce population, more of our children can breathe clean air and drink clean water.
She's such
less
an idiot.
people,
She's
more
such
children.
Okay, so a couple things. Number one, we don't want the demographic disaster that China and a lot of countries are facing, where we don't have enough young people to support our older people or our economy. Number one. Number two, Dum Dum doesn't know that electric vehicles have a larger footprint by far. My Tesla 3, I have the little Tesla, as it to have the equivalent carbon footprint that I have the minute I buy it, you'd have to drive a Ford F-150 55,000 miles and a regular sedan 77,000 miles.
Jesus.
So when you have to find the cobalt and everything else for that electric battery and mine the nickel and stuff, you have to churn up something like 5,500 tons of dirt, which requires machinery that burns fossil fuels. Then you have to take all of that. You make that battery on a coal grid, okay? And then you've got lithium, you've got cobalt and a lot of other these minerals. And then you have to ship it on a ship from China, etc., to the United States to be assembled. So electric cars, like my Tesla, have a much bigger footprint than a Ford F-150. So what is she talking about? What is she talking about?
Also, the White House came out with a little amendment to her speech.
Oh, reduce pollution. Okay, I like that. Because I didn't understand reduce population.
I love the thing at the end. Applause. Like, it's so hilarious. You remember when Jeb Bush gave a speech and he said this profound thing and then nobody clapped? He goes, clap, please. That's what that is.
And we already are investing in clean energy.
Listen, dude. Camel Toe is Montel Williams' side bitch. And you know what? Your side bitch isn't the smartest chick in the world.
Peter Zion.
What?
Peter Zion said there's right now, until there's a breakthrough in material sciences, the only way to invest in clean energy, the only way to have clean energy is to increase our carbon footprint. It just is.
It's the whole thing.
I also don't
dumb.
buy that we are the cause, or at least the sole cause, of global warming.
100. Listen, dude, things ebb and flow. It ebbs and flows.
Yeah.
That's it.
There are a lot
and
of climate
sometimes it's going to
scientists.
get hotter. I know. Supposedly the Death Valley was the hottest it's ever been. Things happen, bro. I mean, if you compared this one time environmentalists got right versus all the times they've got it wrong, it's not even close.
Can I ask you a question? What happened to the hole in the ozone layer?
Yeah, where's
What
that?
happened
Or
to
acid rain.
Can you look up acid rain? Where is it?
Or everything that chick said, what's her name, Greta
Van Dum Dum?
Yeah, everything she said that never. She had to take down a tweet.
She's autistic. I don't like to make fun of somebody like that. She has Asperger's.
Well, I will tell you that
been
her
unfairly
parents have done her a giant disservice. The people that were there to protect her.
Yeah, they were.
Acid
gross.
rain is real. Greta was right, and it is located in the most densely in the northeastern United States. So that is a big L for both of you right now.
Really, acid rain. And what's it doing exactly?
Yeah, bro. Yeah.
What's it doing? Killing
you
the
wood
forests?
gypsy?
No,
What are you
it's not.
talking about?
Hey, liberal boy. Hey, commie.
Hey, commie.
Hey,
Shut
commie
up.
Dylan commie
Yeah.
Dylan.
God. All right. So should we talk about the Berkeley dean lying about diversity?
Yeah,
hires,
let's hear about
or
that.
Should we get into Operation Gladio?
Well, I also want to get
let's
into a
talk
little
about Berkeley
RFK and that discussion that everyone's losing their minds on.
Oh, the Ashkenazi thing?
Yeah.
Okay, don't. All right.
That was a little irresponsible.
Okay. First, let's do this. This Berkeley dean. This is him speaking to his students about hiring teachers.
What I mean by unstated affirmative action is, what if the college or university doesn't tell anybody, doesn't make any public statements? I'll give you an example from our law school, but if ever I'm deposed, I'm going to deny I said this to you. When we do faculty hiring, we're quite conscious that diversity is important to us. And we say diversity is important, it's fine to say that. But I'm very careful when we have a faculty appointments committee meeting. Anytime somebody says, we should really prefer this candidate over this candidate because this person would add diversity, don't say that. You can think it, you can vote it, but our discussions are not privileged, so don't ever articulate that that's what you're doing. Well, that works more easily with regard to faculty hiring. With regard to student admissions, it becomes more difficult because it's a statistical measure.
Yeah. So basically,
Well, so he's basically advocating breaking the law.
yeah. I mean, he was basically saying that if you put me under oath and asked if I said that I did statistical ethnic hiring, like whatever his point is, I would deny it, meaning he would lie,
Yeah, that's fine.
which is
Of course.
this whole thing is there's no honor anymore.
Well,
That's a big problem with our
called
society.
resistance. It's just resistance.
But there's no honor, dude.
He's probably
if you're a law
socialist.
professor and you're openly telling people, I mean, and also there's a lot going on here. First of all, I don't think he's obviously making a joke, right? I mean, don't you think that's a joke?
No, I think he's dead serious. Hey guys, let me talk to you about mood.
Mood.
So it's Delta 8, Delta 9 THC.
Love
They're
it.
gummies that actually will help you with stress, keep you calm.
Anxiety.
Yeah, and even help apparently with soreness. I've not had that experience, but I've had my lady
You're never
took
sore?
these gummies and said, you know, they seem to make me calmer and they kind of relax me.
And we
So,
need that. We need
and
that.
it's not a guessing game.
Yeah.
They are very, very specific about these Delta 9 gummies and stuff.
Let's just
and
say
how
you're
they work.
like new to cannabis, okay? And you want to like, you're trying to figure it all out. There's no denying that many of the products on the market seem iffy at best.
Well, yeah, you can take the wrong gummy and be too high to drive for the next 5 days.
Yeah.
By the way, basically happened to me.
Mood puts an end to all of
Yeah.
the guessing game. It's 100% federally legal Delta 8, Delta 9, THC.
Well, they're specific, right? So they've targeted them for like if you want to be energized, you want to be creative, focused. There are different things that they can target. So
No doctors, no waiting, just affordable, legal THC for a limited time. Mood is giving our listeners free Delta 9 gummies and 20% off your order. Visit HelloMood.com and use our code CSC. Mood offers federally legal forms of THC extracted from hemp plants. All of their products are regularly third-party tested in Drug Enforcement Agency registered labs, okay? Sourced from small family farms and grown organically. Okay? So whether you're ready for a good time without the guesswork, order your THC products from Mood today. And for 20% off your first order and free gummies, go to HelloMood.com. Use the promo code CSC. That's HelloMood, MOOD.com. Promo code CSC for 20% off your order and free gummies. Hello, Mood.
I think he's 100% serious. I think he is a guy who, like all of us, a law is passed, and we go, I don't agree with this law. I think there should be hiring based on the color of someone's skin. That's what he's saying. He's advocating for what he would call a good kind of racism. An equalizing kind of racism. Sort of what a guy like that is really advocating is this. He's advocating a balancing of the historical ledger, which is probably why he pays a very large, strong black woman to kick him in the nuts over and over again with high heels.
Yeah.
That's
a weird fetish.
Better.
Why do you do that, Dylan?
Yeah, but it would make him feel good, right?
Yeah.
So there is that in human beings. Human beings like that want to balance the historical ledger. I understand. And they go, there is a great injustice committed in this country. It still hasn't been righted. And so let's socially engineer a world where we make it equal by just shoehorning in a certain number of this, that, and the other thing. Now, of course, that's not going to work. Of course, the majority of Americans, including black and brown Americans, are very uneasy with the idea of bringing race into this. They also, a lot of them realize that it just is condescending as hell, because what it's saying is not only should Harvard lower its standards for black people, for example, and raise them for Chinese people, but it should also keep the standards lower for black people. Great black people, I guess, according to Harvard and people like that, on a curve, but only people who have a certain amount of melanin in their skin and have a certain, I don't know, DNA profile. This is what we're talking about. If you really get down to the ugly argument of it, it's why it didn't stand. It's why it's always been illegal. When the Civil Rights Act was passed, it already was pushing up against that directly. And the Supreme Court said, this is not how, you can't do this.
Here's the biggest problem with diversity is like the only place that they don't feel there needs to be diversity is in sports, because it's like very much like.
And now Hollywood, because Hollywood lost so much money. All those DEI guys got fired.
But it's like, let's face it, Harvard, even though I think it's dog shit, Harvard is the NBA of education, right? It's where the best of the best go. So why would you want to dilute the product? It's like why you see it in comedy. Like there's a bunch of people at the lowest levels of comedy that really want to be famous. They really want it. So they can't compete on stage. So they have decided to change the rules to get to the stage, which like this woman who got famous for a second was like, "Dear Improv and Comedy Store and Laugh Factory, I've been looking at your lineup and I see a lack of diversity. I don't see any trans or any blah, blah, blah." What ends up happening is she ends up getting a bunch of spots because everybody's scrambling. Because you have a bunch of emotional people who are running these clubs who like, oh my God, there's people on the internet saying mean things to us. We got to stop this. When they don't realize those people never buy tickets to comedy shows.
They can't
the
sell
whole
tickets.
point is, but what's going on, dude, is that, you see this, the Improv was a great example of this. Like the Improv today is like, no, bangers bang. They're like putting up bangers, right? But before the pandemic, the Improv was struggling because they were like, we got to make sure our flyer really pops with shiny, biracial, bisexual people so everyone thinks it's super diversity. But when people paid $20, hard-earned $20 to see a show, they weren't laughing.
Yeah.
Because the low-rung people who can't get out of the open mic scene think the only reason they're not on that stage is because there's no diversity. In reality, they can't compete.
They're not funny. Well, of course. I mean, but Hollywood had all their DEI and like people, right? They hired diversity, equity, and inclusion officers. And when I was doing school, I saw this start to happen. And they had these initiatives to make sure women were directors. They had all these programs that kind of shoehorned women in there who weren't ready yet, stuff like that.
Right.
And what happened with Hollywood is suddenly, if you look at this year, all those DEI officers are gone. Now, what the DEI officers did...
Well, because the DEI officers also were going after the fucking presidents.
Yes.
And it's like...
Hollywood's brass, the top brass go, they do meet in a smoky room. They do.
Yeah.
And they go, hey, look at this dum-dum.
Yeah.
Look at this guy trying to practice terrorism. This dude's trying to, this dude or gal
Bryan.
or they is trying to actually extort us. Oh, they don't know how this works. And they just disappear. But the problem was Hollywood lost about $100 million.
$100 million? They wish that's all they lost.
Each studio lost well over $100 million with these horseshit policies that didn't get the best artists in there, the best stories in there. So, it's beautiful.
Great example of that. And I just talked about it on my podcast, Broken Sim, that just dropped. But Project Green, what's it called? Greenlight? Is that what it's called? The one that Matt Damon. So on the original series, this black female producer starts to check the whole white executive producing board about how there's no diversity. And Matt Damon got a lot of shit for saying this, but he goes, well, we like diversity in front of the camera. Behind the camera, we want the best of the best. And this woman goes, oh, really? And so this power dynamic
Where did this happen?
On a Project Greenlight, is it called? Or
I think so.
This is recent?
No, this is a couple years ago. So this black producer starts checking the executive producers, starts checking them. And then is offended when he goes, no, we want the best of the best behind. We don't care what your color is as long as you're the best of the best. And she took that as an offensive statement. Well, they came back this year. They brought it back. And dude, if you can find the list of everybody that they picked as the directors, you would think America was all black female. You would think.
Oh, I know.
This is their diversity, all black female. Yeah. Now, I personally believe that if there's any demographic that should be served in Hollywood, it is black females because they got nothing forever. When you find out that like Tiffany Haddish was the first black female comic host of Saturday Night Live in its many years, you're like, how does that freaking happen?
That's right.
But again, now the show's getting panned because it sucks. Because they didn't get the best of the best. You have one chick going, I'm a visionary. You don't give yourself your own name.
It goes back to the pendulum. Americans have to go all or nothing.
Yes.
It's like, can you be a little bit of both?
Yes.
Americans have so much trouble.
Can we meet in the middle?
Keeping it in the middle. Americans, not most Americans, not
we
most
need both sides. Yeah. But it's gone so far one way that it's going to overcorrect the other.
The louder voices, and the problem with social media, obviously, is
the 5% on both sides ruin everything. So can we? I know we're coming to the end. Can we get into this RFK thing real quick?
Totally.
So RFK Jr. Somebody is filming him at a dinner or something like that, and this is just his thing that they're trying to do with him, whether it's real or fake, to a fart-filled dinner. So he was saying that statistics showed that COVID didn't affect Jews and the Asians as much.
Complete bullshit, but yeah. Complete bullshit, but yeah. Complete bullshit. And the problem with what he said...
Brian.
I read this article.
Brian.
Yeah.
Okay. So you're saying here in your green shirt and your green flip-flops...
that Ashkenazi Jews are just as affected by COVID.
What is your data based on?
What is your data based on?
He does the data, bro. Like, this is my problem.
So you're saying, hold on, this is great.
My problem
hold on, this
with
is great.
You and all these people,
Sam,
the science people,
Sam,
you all the time, all the time.
So COVID, you're
Brian,
saying
you have not looked at the data.
COVID
this is my problem with America.
So
what? No.
Sam,
It's not happening.
Sam,
you are using it to silence me.
Sam, you're getting crazy.
No,
now
Brian, I'm not getting daisy. I'm not getting crazy.
So what are you saying that he's right?
Brian, what you say all the time.
Are you saying he's right?
You're not a doctor.
Are you saying?
You don't know.
Are you saying he's right?
If there's anybody that does the data, it's RFK Jr.
Do you know
he does the data.
Do you know how much he's been taken to task for his quote unquote data? Have you read anything?
Brian,
did you read the article I sent to you?
Brian, this is your problem.
But you don't read anything,
problem.
Sam.
If I didn't have tits right now, I would take this shirt off.
Don't read
I would take it off right now.
You don't read.
Brian, you don't read.
You don't know what you're talking about.
You don't read anything.
Sam,
what the problem with you, Brian,
here's the
problem with you, Brian, is that you don't like uncomfortable facts.
No, that is an old anti-Semitic.
Oh God! Okay,
so
wrap it up.
Hang on. All right.
Time to go.
So that's for you.
Yeah.
That's for you.
No,
that's
not for me. I do not.
And that's for you too. So 30-second
I don't recognize it.
You have to recognize it.
Sam, if you're going to be this,
Brian, I do not recognize
if you're
that red card.
Trot out this racist trope, which is what it is.
All right,
and the most offensive thing I've ever heard.
30-second timeout, then your turn.
So Sam, I have a question for you. Are you saying that COVID doesn't affect Ashkenazi Jews or Chinese people as much as it does regular white people, blacks, and browns? Are you saying that?
He's in a timeout right now.
Go ahead. You can get him off the timeout. Is that what you're saying? Are you saying he's right? Are you saying Robert F. Kennedy's stats are correct? And are you saying stats say that?
All right, done with the timeout.
Okay, I'm saying that this guy has way more statistics than you do, Brian.
No, he doesn't.
And you're having an emotional response to him.
No, he
and this is why we can't ever have discussions.
No, he doesn't.
Because people like you have emotional responses.
Answer my question.
What's unbelievable to me, Brian, do black people have sickle cell more than anybody else? Why is that okay? Why can you sit there and accept that?
Because we have data to prove it.
Okay, I'm out. Wrap it up.
Sam,
hey, everybody.
You just
Sam Tripoli has a new day York,
what's
August 13th.
What's implied
I'm in New
with that
York
statement?
with tinfoil hat
Sam,
comedy.
You're
Bryan,
very
I
irresponsible.
can't have this
You're very
conversation with
irresponsible.
you. You are
What's
an emotional
implied with that
monkey.
statement is
You're
that
an emotional
Jews
monkey.
came up with
you
COVID.
are an emotional
What you're saying,
monkey.
what you're saying is
you're
that
an emotional
Jews,
uncle.
you're saying
no,
Jews,
Bryan,
invisible
you're saying
Jews,
the Jews, man.
created
You're saying the Jews.
COVID.
You're having
It
a
is an
reaction to
anti-Semitic.
it. No,
that
Bryan.
My problem with
Bryan,
your conspiracy theories
Bryan,
is at
here's
the
the problem
end of
with
the
you.
day, and
Here's
there's
the problem
always an
with you, Bryan.
invisible Jew responsible
No,
for everything.
That's ridiculous.
Yes, it is.
Bryan.
That's
Bryan,
the problem.
I have stated this 1,000 times on
It's
the
bullshit.
show.
Your
I do
statement
not
is
think
bullshit.
the Jews run the
Your
world.
statement is
and
bullshit.
this is why you're
what
a child.
are you saying about
and
the-
I love you to
so
pieces.
what are you saying about the
what
Robert
you're
Kennedy
doing
thing?
right now is
What are you saying
childish,
about- 'cause
Bryan.
Robert Kennedy
I
has
love you
already
to
said-
pieces.
Robert
I love
Kennedy
you
said-
to pieces, Bryan.
Robert Kennedy said
I
there is
love
no
you.
data for
Okay,
it.
all right. Okay.
No,
Okay.
no,
Well,
hang on. This is dangerous shit.
Okay.
This
it's
is why we can
RFK
never have
said
conversation.
Unlistenable podcast, though. We gotta.
RFK
just
said
talk
there's
to
no
each
data
other.
for it. RFK, in a series of tweets afterwards, said that he totally misspoke. Now, hold
here
on.
we go with
So-
this again.
So when you actually
because he does
give
this every
stuff-
time, he makes a statement and then he gets his dick
So you're
kicked
saying
in
it's true?
by these emotional.
You're saying
Bryan,
it's true?
I'm saying, Bryan.
Yeah.
It is definitely possible.
Where's the
that
data?
a certain demographic isn't affected by something than than other demographics.
Chinese and Jews? The Chinese
I think
and
it's
Jews?
possible, or it could be Irish and Puerto Ricans.
But he,
it's
but,
different.
but see, the problem
No,
with that,
Bryan. What the problem with you
let
is
me
that
just
you
say
hear
this.
the word Jew and you just start running around crazy.
because it's an old Jewish
Bryan,
trope.
Bryan,
it's an old anti-Semitic
Bryan,
trope.
no, Bryan,
the
it's
Nazis
not.
said that the
It's not, Bryan.
The Jews were blamed for the Black
It's
Plague.
not.
They were blamed for the Spanish flu.
Bryan, it's not.
The Jews were blamed for the
It's
Black
not.
Plague because they covered
It's
their
not.
wells.
It's
But
not.
if you don't know
Bryan,
history.
I live with a Jew.
you don't know history.
Okay,
You don't
I
know
live with a
history.
no, Bryan. You don't know history.
Sam,
You know.
Can
You
we
know
go down-
propaganda.
Can we go
Yeah,
down
let's
this
just go to-
this
let's go.
thread of his? So he responded.
Here's the question.
To this.
Asked my press officer, what do you say of critics who might think saying coronavirus was a bioweapon made to kill white and black but spare Jews might be anti-Semitic? Of course, saying that would be anti-Semitic, but I didn't say that. Levine is fabricating an opinion.
Yeah,
attributing it
that's
to me
what
and
I'm
trolling
saying.
Hold on, good. But cynically, leveling anti-Semitic charges, Levine devalues the term at a time when real anti-Semitism
Thank
is
you.
rampant. What's more, by using a racially charged term,
Thank you.
sparing Jews, with its biblical reference to Exodus, he is inflaming fear, hate, and blah, blah,
Thank
blah.
you.
I demand
That's
the
what
editors
I'm
of the New York
saying.
Post retract and that Levine apologize for this false,
Thank you.
underhanded, and inflammatory article.
That's what I'm saying.
Hold on. Let's keep going. Science. Keep going, because there's more to it.
Okay, I'm done.
Science does not care about feeling. It's not sentiment. It's not sentient. For example, sickle cell is an immunological evolution made by the body to provide resistance to malaria. People with sickle cell have immunity to malaria, but sickle cell leaves them more vulnerable to viruses, blah, 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 blah.
Unbelievable.
My point is this, Sam.
Thank you, Robert.
Sam, by you saying that, you have to understand.
No, Bryan.
That
Bryan,
saying it
no,
is,
Bryan.
is what's
I'm not.
used against the
I
Jews.
love you for.
All right?
I love you to pieces. That's not what he said
I'm
right
not-
there.
so
and Bryan,
if he didn't say
Bryan,
that- I'm not
here's
saying
the
he said that. I'm
problem.
saying when you're
no,
saying
you just
that's
did
something to
say
look
that,
at,
Bryan.
it's
Bryan,
not.
no. I love you. I can't express to you. There are not words that express my love for you.
why
How much
my
I love
legs are-
you.
that's why my
what
legs
you
are
did
crossed.
right there is emotional. Okay,
not
you had an
emotional.
emotional
It's not
response
emotional.
to a discussion.
It's not emotional,
No, you
Sam.
did, Bryan.
Because it's
You had
not
an
true.
emotional response.
Because it's
Listen
not
to me.
true.
Listen to me.
We don't
I
have
love
any
you
data
to
on
pieces.
that.
Okay.
Projection.
Okay.
Projection, Your Honor.
What do you mean?
Dude,
he's very
you guys
emotional.
both got so
No,
emotional.
look at how. No, I'm
there.
No,
very
Both
guys.
of you
I'm
did.
very
Bryan,
calm.
Bryan, here, I
My
just
voice
wanna
is
say
very
this.
grounded.
He was not saying that right there, okay?
Yeah.
All right? But it's ridiculous that in this day and age that grown-ups are afraid to have a conversation. They have been, whether it's China, whether it's Israel, whether it's the United States, they have created weapons that are genetic specific. He was not talking about that. He was just talking that studies show that COVID had a less effect on certain demographics. It wasn't that it's a bioweapon or anything. That's all he was saying. But you know what? People hear the word Jew or Ashkenazi and they lose their fucking head. And that does more damage than good in the long run. It does more damage than good.
So-
if all things are anti-Semitic, it's really bad, bro. If you can just yell that term out and end any conversation, it is dangerous
Sam,
and does more damage.
Okay, would you agree with this, though?
No, I will not.
It's good to know that when you have a conspiracy theory, sometimes that conspiracy theory has been around a long time. And in historically, if you look at that conspiracy theory, historically, what you find is always at the end of it, and the person to blame is either a group of invisible Jews or one invisible Jew. And that is a fact of history. So that's why when somebody says something and cites a study from 2012.
Yeah, but the problem. Okay.
You go like this. You can
Well,
understand.
we're not gonna
But Sam, you go like this.
have a
You
good
go,
time.
whoa.
Oh my God.
He's like,
Oh, anti-Semitic.
no. But Sam.
Anti-Semitic.
I don't have two dicks.
Oh,
Your Honor.
That's all this is.
fucking
Guys,
I don't jerk off that way.
Guys,
Your
come
Honor,
on.
I don't jerk off that way.
August 13th. I've
What?
just added a
No,
date
we
in New York
can't end
City.
the show. It's 50 minutes long. Can
Yeah.
we please just read this
I
from
will not
Robert
read it.
Kennedy?
Hold on. Yeah, I've already read it, but hold on.
No, I don't want to read
Sam
it
doesn't
anymore.
read.
All right,
Moving
fine, we
on.
won't
Sam
read
doesn't
it.
read. He's
Okay,
allergic to
Brian,
reading.
where are you going to be?
Sam's
Where are you going to
allergic
be,
to
Brian?
reading. He's
Go to
allergic.
BrianCallen.com.
What are you doing
Sam
right now?
Tripoli.
We have 10 more
Sam,
minutes of the show.
Sam,
You can't throw this
Yes,
fit
I'm
and end
done.
the
I'm
show.
out.
Can't be this
Wrap it
emotional.
up,
It can't be this
bro.
emotional.
God,
Sam,
dude.
at the end of the day, the
Brian,
problem
I
is you
think-
got to know that a lot of times conspiracy theories, when anybody could say anything, and if it sounds like it makes sense to you, you go, well, let's talk about it, right? So you go, like, there's always a way to make any insane story a little bit plausible. Can you admit that sometimes making an insane story a little bit plausible can be very dangerous?
No, Brian.
So you
I
don't
don't.
think there is such a thing as misinformation or
So,
disinformation?
Brian, I mean, I would like to talk
Yes.
without getting interrupted.
Please.
So here's my problem with
My
everything.
God, the hypocrisy in that
Oh
statement.
my
Oh
God!
my
Okay, I
God.
get it. I get.
I am
okay,
crushing
get it.
today.
This is such a
But go on,
two-on-one
but go on.
show. 2-on-1.
Go on with your. Let me romance. Let me romance.
Okay,
what you're
Brian.
about to say.
Okay, let's give Brian a red card for now.
Okay.
do you mean?
Here's my problem. I don't think Jews are in the world. Okay. Is there views that Jews are behind everything? Of course, there's always going to be crazy people out there. I totally agree with that. But by completely and utterly having an emotional response, anytime the word Jew is brought into something, it does a lot more damage than good. Because what you're going to start doing is you're going to start making it so people going, hold on, why can't I just even talk about this? Because it doesn't even get to the word Jew. It just gets to somebody who happens to be Jewish is said to have done something nefarious. It's got to be anti-Semitism. And that does more damage than good in the long run. Okay, that's my whole thing. And you have Hollywood and all these Hollywood people who happen to be Jewish, who are just have zero problem with doing a broad strokes of white people, white nationalism, white all this shit. And the minute one criticism of one person who happens to be Jewish, now they're running around like the fucking sky is on
Well,
fire.
I have a different criticism. I have a different way.
But that's not it.
Yeah.
But my point is, Brian.
Yeah.
Okay, it's very hard for me to go, woe is me on anybody when these people have openly blamed all white people for the actions of the few. And that's my opinion on Jews. Are you telling me that no Jew has ever done anything bad? I don't think it's because they're Jewish. I think they just happen to be fucking psychos who happen to be Jewish. And they're not doing it because they're Jewish, but they just happen to be Jewish.
Here's my thing.
But when people like you won't even allow the discussion of that. But you're perfectly fine with people just going off on white people are the problem.
Let's take RFK Jr.
But Brian, do they not do that with white people?
Sure.
Okay.
But nobody's arguing with that. Let me take
There
RFK.
is an argument
Let me take
of that.
RFK and let's talk about our algorithm, how it lies to us. And let's also take the fact that nowadays people can cite things and we all go, wow, because more eyes are on them. And that's the biggest challenge that we face. So RFK is a good example. RFK went on Rogan and I listened to it very closely. And he talked about a lot of things when it came to vaccines. For example, a lot of vaccines haven't been tested on people. He went into ethyl mercury, getting into the brain, and a lot of things like that. Now it's aluminum and stuff like that. So he had a lot of these sites. And RFK is a lawyer who has won a lot of vaccine injury cases. And then he got into 5G wireless technology and
here
how.
we
Hold
go,
on, I'm just
bro.
telling you what he said. Do you
Yeah,
mind?
and it's
he
real.
Said how tumors are on this side of the ear and stuff like that. Okay, and then we get this story. When I hear that, and then I did my research. I really did my research, and I know you don't read, but there are publications and there are scientists.
Is that gaslighting? Is that
There
what
are,
that's called?
but Sam,
100%
but Sam,
gaslighting.
there are rebuttals to his argument. And there are scientists that go, like Scientific American, which is an amazing magazine, goes, hold on. What he said wasn't true, and here are the receipts. And they showed the transcript from the meeting he was talking about, and they showed in his books how he edited it. He did. He edited it. And I see that, and I go, oh, I don't have a dog in this race, because I was listening to him.
Yeah.
And then I see that, and I go, that's an inconsistency. That's a little weird. And then I look at the cell phone data. I look at the actual cell phone data on glioblastoma, which he talked about.
Okay.
And if glioblastoma cases are larger now than they were. And the data just doesn't bear that out. It just doesn't.
Okay.
Okay.
So
then
Bryan,
so when I see that,
5G
Sam,
100% has an effect on our body.
No, it doesn't.
Yes, it does. Bryan, write down this time and this date, because you're going to backtrack on that. And I love you to pieces.
They think it might be affecting bees. But
affecting bees, birds, people have gotten. They had to get rid of a 5G tower near a school because all the kids were getting cancer. This is a fact, Bryan.
I don't know if
Will you look that
5G, I don't know if
it
5G
does, Bryan.
does anything.
This isn't
And
my
I don't
first
think anybody
rodeo.
Does,
this is the first conversation. RFK isn't bringing up something I haven't discussed on my show 1,000 times.
Sam, what I'm saying is that then you look at the actual data, right?
Bryan, I had the people look at the data.
So glioblastomas. Can you see it look up anywhere you want? Have glioblastomas?
Anywhere you want.
Have they increased? And they haven't. And that's kind of significant since everybody uses a cell phone, Sam. You know, so when you say that they cause brain cancer cases would probably skyrocket since people started using cell phones, Sam, and they haven't. Can you explain why? Can you explain that?
Well, I'm missing Thai boxing class.
But can you explain why though? You're avoiding my question.
What?
If cell phones create glioblastomas, which are the incurable brain tumors, why haven't glioblastomas increased by a measure of 2, 3, or 4 or 5-fold since cell phones have increased by a measure of 100, 1,000, 1,000,000-fold?
But they have gone up, Bryan.
They actually haven't.
Yes, Bryan.
If you look at the metadata,
okay.
Sam. But Sam, I'm just telling you, if you can find me where the metadata says that glioblastomas are now a pandemic, they're not.
Bryan.
Do you know anybody?
Real quick,
Do you know
can I
anybody
ask you something, please?
Yeah.
Do you think they manipulated the COVID data? Okay, take your time.
I think they did.
So if they're willing to manipulate data, they'll manipulate any data. Okay.
Well, but these are worldwide things, right? So we'd see a larger. You're not going to manipulate the data of brain tumors.
Okay,
because people
Bryan.
die of brain tumors,
Yeah,
right?
You're right.
But every medical journal has done a study on this.
Yes. Do you
And-
mean
and
are
so
these
have
the same ones who
independent-
told us
but
about
so have
COVID and
independent- but
vaccines
independent
and all that
watchdog-
stuff and
independent
trust the science?
watchdog,
Bryan, my biggest
committees
thing
have
is
done it,
this.
and they
I just
haven't
want to
found
tell
it.
you something, Bryan. You know, when you hear these things about 5G,
Yeah.
okay, and like you've been on the show long enough, I'm not asking you to deep throw every conspiracy you hear, but you should be at a point right now going, okay, maybe the lying liars who've been lying to me about everything else are lying to me about this, and have skeptic hippo eyes, not at the conspiracy theorists, but at the people making money off everything.
No, I agree with you.
Okay,
I agree
so
with
that's
that.
all I'm saying.
I was actually talking about JFK, and when he got into when he started getting into the water causing gender dysphoria,
Okay.
when he got into
We've
cell
already done
phones,
this,
I
bro.
go like this. I go, oh man, you're
Bryan,
overreaching
Bryan,
here. You're
no,
stepping
Bryan,
over your
Bryan,
There's a-
here's the problem here, and I love you. I have to say this. I love you.
Yeah.
But you are set in your ways, and what you don't want to believe is that there's actually bad people out there, and the bad people aren't wearing black hats all the
know
time.
that. I'm just looking
or
for
aren't the
evidence.
Russians or the
No, I know, but
Chinese.
I'm looking for
that sometimes
evidence.
no, Bryan,
You haven't given me
because you're
evidence.
not looking for evidence. What you're looking is to be told it by people you trust. And the problem is that the people you trust have no problems with lying to you because the people paying for those fucking studies want them to lie to you.
Why do you believe JFK?
Why I don't believe JFK. I believe RFK Jr.
I mean, why do you believe RFK?
Because he's fucking being beat up by all the same people.
That's not a reason to believe.
Yes, but Brian, because a lot of
that's a
stuff
bad
that
reason.
he talks about that I know about, he's totally 100% correct.
Why?
And the guy,
why is he 100% correct?
well, the guy was a trial.
I tried, but I looked it up and I couldn't find. So I like him, right? I listened to it and I was like, oof, like he said some stuff, right? And I was like. And there's a lot I like about him, but
I'm physically exhausted.
I looked
right
up,
now.
but Sam, look at
I'm
me.
physically
I looked
exhausted.
up a way to make him right.
Yeah.
And I found contradictory evidence. What am I
Yes.
supposed to do with that?
Yes, Brian. So Brian, your research was what? Here, I'm going to do Brian doing research. Ready?
Yeah, dude.
Okay. I'm Brian Callen. I'm going to do research.
Nope.
Google.
No. I did this.
Google.
No, I did this very simply. Watch
Google.
this. No.
Is RFK right about
No,
the 5G?
Here. Okay, wait,
No, I did
wait.
this.
Okay,
I
here.
did this. I looked at the transcripts, and then I looked at what his book said, and I looked at how he edited what the transcript said of that meeting.
Here, will
Does
you,
that
will you
doesn't
do
count?
Brian researching one more time?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, you do it. Do
Okay,
Brian
I'm getting
researching.
set up
Okay,
here.
ready?
Okay.
Okay, here we go.
All right, here we go. I'm getting set up. Oh, I'm going to do research. Google.
Hey, you know what?
Show me.
I don't have that music playing.
Your research.
No. Dang, no. You son of a bitch. How dare you? Enemy of truth.
Sam, you yelled way too much today, man. Brian won.
Yeah! Fucking A, everybody. Listen, guys, when you hear something that's too simplified, where there's good guys, bad guys, like this guy and the people he supports, do your own research.
Go to
and you'll find
SamTripoli.
that a lot of it's a lie.
.com.
If you
for
like to
my
laugh,
dates.
I'll be at the Blue Room this weekend, Friday, Saturday in Missouri. In Springfield, Missouri. Come get some, BryanCallen.com. Sam, where are you going to be?
SamTripoli.com. Just added New York City, August 13th.
Ooh.
So let's see. It's not on the website, but it will be up hopefully by the end of the day.
Headlining Pizza Chief? What is
Okay,
that?
Brian, are you mocking my fucking
No,
gigs,
I'm
buddy?
just asking
You
what-
just totally mocked my
What is
gig.
Pizza Chief?
It's a fucking venue in Ventura that's giving me the door. How about that one?
All right, I'm just
okay.
asking.
I'm sorry, Brian. We're not playing the Blue Room in fucking St. Louis.
You should be. 'cause
Okay,
you're
I
awesome.
love you. I love you, buddy.
All right,
Today
I
was a
won.
weird
I'm
day.
sorry I crushed you on that.
No, Brian.
And it's hard
Brian,
for you.
Brian.
But I
today
did
was
crush.
not a good day for you.
No,
It was a rough
Hey,
day. It was a
all
rough day
bullshit
for the
aside,
Wood Gypsy.
I fucking crushed.
Yeah, rough day. God have mercy on all of our souls in the comment section. It's not going to be pretty for anybody. All of us are coming out bleeding out of our beeholes after this one. Guys, have a great day. We'll try better tomorrow.
People ask, is everything a conspiracy? The answer is yes.
Who and what is controlling everything and why? They practice sorcery. I can't argue against magic.
I don't know what it is that we live on, but I believe it's a realm. This realm that we live in is the lowest level of heaven, highest level of hell.
Chicken snake gods and the Anunnaki and sorcery. If Sam says the chicken and snake god is running everything, I'm literally in the world of crazy. I'm winning.
You're losing.
Conspiracy Social Club, a.k.a. Deep Waters.